Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So now that we are at the Four Nations break and we don't have another NHL game for 12 goddamn days, I thought it'd be fitting to give my updated NHL awards ballots. I've basically been doing this once every month, month and a half. So we're going to dive into it. We're not going to waste any time. And by the way, if my eyes look a little bit weird in terms of like yellow around it or the pupils being dilated, I was at the eye doctor before. I'm not fresh out of some like EDM festival. But yeah, let's get into it. This is my ballot right now if the season ended today. This is not predicting who I think is going to end up winning because I don't think the same as the voting body for the most part. I like to be a little bit outside the box. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. And up first, we have the Norris Trophy. When looking at this, I currently have Cale Makar. I think Quinn Hughes has been the best defenseman on a per game basis, but he has missed 8 games, 8 out of, I believe, 54 or 55 games the Canucks have played. That has to matter to a degree. Now, Quinn Hughes might be higher in my heart ballot because I think he's more valuable to the Canucks than, say, Makar to the Avalanche. But I think what Cale Makar is doing right now has been very impressive. 22 goals, 41 assists, 63 points in 57 games. Might hit the 30-goal mark. And as well, defensively, he's been very good as well, posting a 2.24 expected goals against per 60 at 5-on-5. He's been awesome. And funny enough, usually it's Cale Makar that misses a bunch of games, and that kind of screws him out of the award, but he's been healthy. Quinn Hughes has been absolutely dominant. 59 points in 47 games. But again, 8 games at this point, this early, it's decently late into the season, but still, it's not like it's 8 out of 82. Right now, it's 8 out of 55. That's like 15% of the season. Werenski, you could argue that it's 1 through 3 is tough. 1 through 3 is very tough. Werenski has obviously been awesome. Then fourth, Josh Morrissey, 46 points in 56 games, posting a 2.19 goals against, expected goals against per 60. He's been awesome on one of the best teams in the entire NHL. And I'm glazing Adam Fox still. Not the most impressive offensive season, 44 points in 55 games, but he's rocking a 56.6% expected goals percentage. When he's off the ice, that's when he's on the ice. When he's off the ice, the Rangers fall all the way down to 44.9%. He's been awesome on a Rangers team that has been pretty dog shit of late. So yeah, that's my Norris ballot right now. 1 through 3, all very close. But I think I slightly lean with Cale Makar right now just because of the games played, and he's been pretty damn good defensively as well. And again, Quinn Hughes has been better, but 8 games is a sizable amount in the NHL, especially considering we're only 2/3 of the way through the season. It's not like it's all 82 games. You're going to see that's going to be a common theme. Another award might be a little bit controversial because of games played. Jack Adams. I'm going to go with Spencer Carberry. I previously had Dean Evison, but now it's looking like the Columbus Blue Jackets are starting to fall off a decent amount, and that's kind of out of his control. Marchenko breaks his jaw. Monahan has an injury, so if he doesn't make the playoffs, he has really no chance at winning. I still think that he should be a finalist, assuming Columbus finishes at like the 85-point mark. That's an awesome job. They were expected to be a bottom 3 team across the board. But yeah, Spencer Carberry, first. Yes, the Capitals made a bunch of additions this offseason. They were going to be a better team. Nobody expected them to potentially win the President's Trophy. They're basically a lock at this point to be the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. He's awesome. He is awesome. Probably should. Was he a finalist? No, I don't think he was a finalist last year, but should have been a finalist because he had just like a blah, blah roster and grinded out wins. And this year, more of the same. He's solidifying himself as a top 5 coach in the NHL. Todd McCullen's tough. They're 15-5-1 under Todd McCullen for the Detroit Red Wings. Not a big sample size, but again, just they've looked like a completely different team. Scott Arniel, awesome, doing an awesome job, no doubt. Winnipeg just was a 110-point team last year, so I don't think that he's going to get a ton of Jack Adams love. Probably going to be a finalist, though. But yeah, I think fourth is pretty fair for him. Connor Hellebuyck is doing a decent amount of the heavy lifting, but he's been awesome in his own right. And then Jim Hiller, underrated guy, what he's doing in LA this season. Without Drew Doughty, they're safely in a playoff spot, safely ahead of guys like Colorado and Vancouver. You wouldn't have expected that at the beginning of the season. And in terms of their expected goals against, they're second in the entire NHL at 5-on-5 at 55.79%. So I attribute a lot of that to the coaching. He's been awesome thus far for the LA Kings. My Jack Adams ballot, not too controversial. I think that this is pretty standard. A lot of people would have that top 3 as well. Moving on, Selke. I'm not going to like regurgitate the defensive stats. Just kind of roll with it. Sam Reinhart, every defensive stat says that he's the best defensive forward in the NHL this season. Anthony Cirelli, as always, brilliant defensively. Barkov, games played, missed 10 games. As a result, I think on a per-game basis, you can argue he's been the best one. And he's probably going to win it regardless of games played, just because the voters absolutely love him. But yeah, I think at this point, third makes sense considering he missed 10 games. Seth Jarvis has been awesome as well. And Connor Garland has been fantastic defensively for the Vancouver Canucks thus far. Felt like he should get some love. You could argue PLD should be in the mix for a Selke. He's been that good defensively as well. But yeah, the Selke, it's really tough to kind of just articulate without just being like, oh, his expected goals against per 60. This is my Selke ballot. Don't think it's that controversial. The Vezina, Connor Hellebuck, still in first, has a 925, playing on pace for like 60 to 65 games. Logan Thompson, even though yesterday was kind of a stinker for him versus the Utah Hockey Club, especially early on, still easily the second choice on a per-game basis, has probably been better than Connor Hellebuck thus far. Joey Daccord needs to be getting more love on that bad of a Seattle Kraken team. They have the 7th worst team defense in terms of all situations, expected goals against per 60. He still has a 915. He has like 20 goals saved above expected. Needs more love. Probably not even going to finish top 5 just because of the win numbers, and his team kind of stinks. Andrei Vasilevsky, 918 this season in 42 games out of 55 games last year, dealing with that back injury. He's all the way back, and yet again a workhorse for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then Dostal, not the most impressive save percentage, only 911, but going back to Joey Daccord, the Ducks are not that good of a team. They're going to go over their 72.5 that I had in my preseason challenges, but that's mainly because of Lucas Dostal. He's just been that good in terms of the expected goals. He's top 5 across the board. He's been awesome, and I feel like you got to give him some love as a result. The Jim Gregory, nothing has really changed compared to when I did this a month and a half ago. Chris Patrick, I still don't know how voters are going to technically judge this because he was not the general manager when all these moves went down. He didn't get appointed until July 8th, but obviously he had a massive say in them. So he's going to be the guy when looking at it. PLD, Chikrin, Thompson, obviously home run kind of moves. Mangiapane, Matt Roy have been solid as well. Washington has gone from one of the worst wildcard teams of recent memory to being potentially the President's Trophy winner. That has to do with Carberry, but also has a lot to do with what this management group has done. Julien Brisebois, Gensel tells the franchise's GOAT to basically kick rocks. We're bringing in Jake Gensel for only $1 million more. He's fit in. He's been awesome. And Ryan McDonough has been really underrated. I think that move honestly has more of an impact on their season this year than Jake Gensel, bringing in that number 2 guy, having the balls to move out Sergachev, who's a much younger guy, to bring in McDonough, only going from a 2nd-round pick to a 4th-round pick. That was absolutely awesome work for him. And even with the Sergachev deal, he got guys like J.J. Mosier, who's been very solid, Connor Geekie, and a 2nd-round pick in return. Tom Fitzgerald just had a metric shit ton of moves this offseason to get New Jersey back in the playoffs. Eric Tolsky, maybe when they made the Rantanen deal, you would have had him a little bit higher. I still think that was a good move that makes them a better team this year. I'm not trying to be a hype beast, but like Martin H is playing better. No, Tolsky has done awesome this year. Got this bear, Walker, Roslovic. He has made some of those minor moves in a season where we thought that Carolina was kind of just retooling. They're yet again one of the best teams in the entire NHL. And then Brad Treliving basically went 3 for 3 on his free agent signings. Stolarz, even though he dealt with injury, has been well worth $2.5 million. OEL's been good. Tanev's been awesome. Job well done by Brad Treliving. You can switch. I think Chris Patrick is pretty easy number 2. I would stand by Brisebois or Patrick's number 1, Brisebois number 2. 3 through 5, you can kind of switch and move around. Kevin Cheveldayoff, I think, is one of the best general managers in the NHL, but when you look at what he did this offseason, he didn't really do much, so I don't think that you could just throw him on there just because his team's a top 2 team in the entire NHL. Love him as a general manager, but yeah, that's how my Gregory ballot stacks up right now. The Calder, I got Lane Hudson number 1, 41 points in 56 games, on pace for one of the best offensive seasons by rookie defensemen in NHL history. It has been very impressive. The defensive numbers haven't been awesome. I think that they aren't like that bad. I think he's in like the 2 percentile defensively in the NHL. I don't think he's that bad defensively. But yeah, this guy's been a monster, and he's played in every single game. Versus Mackin Celebrini missed 12 games. He's been better on a per-game basis going back to a Quinn Hughes. 17 goals, 23 assists, 40 points in 45 games. But again, did miss 12 games. I think by the end of the season, if they continue to go at this respective pace, I would eventually have Celebrini pass Hudson. But right now, again, 2/3 through the NHL season, right now I have Lane Hudson winning the Calder Trophy. And Dustin Wolf, honestly, a week ago, probably would have been my number 1 pick, but he kind of shat the bed the final week before the Four Nations, had an 868 in 3 games, including almost having a shutout in that Kraken game and then letting up 3 goals, 2 goals in the third, and then an overtime winner. So he's still awesome, still is a 912, still is he's probably the most valuable guy to his team when looking at Calgary. The only reason they're in a playoff spot right now is because of Dustin Wolf. But yeah, has played 33 out of like 57 games for the Calgary Flames. He's been awesome. 912 save percentage. His analytics have him as like a top 13 to 18 goaltender in the entire NHL. Definitely in the mix. He's not a distant third like I see a lot of books have him at. He is definitely in the mix for this to potentially win it. Michkov, a distant 4th, but a very clear 4th. He has 36 points in 55 games, has been awesome on a rather lackluster Philadelphia Flyers team. And then I put Saplakov there. You could have went Stankoven. You could have went my boy Cutter Gauthier. Will Smith's been playing much better of late. I went a little bit biased. He has 25 points a season, playing a pretty sizable role at 16 minutes a night. Needs to stop taking dumb penalties, but has been very, very effective. And yes, I know he's 25, 26 years old. He's older than most of these guys. I don't give a shit about age when it comes to the Calder Trophy. It's, are you a rookie? How good are you? That's what I judge it on, and that's what other people should judge it on. Hart Trophy. I have made a big, big switch. I have Leon Draisaitl in there. Connor Hellebuck, still definitely in the mix. All the top three is honestly a battle, probably more so top two. I think McKinnon's a little bit overrated. Still awesome this season, don't get me wrong. Hellebuck reasoning. He's slowed down in the new year. And by slow down, I mean he only has a 913 since January 1st, which is still awesome. Do not get me wrong. But I think it's not that historic pace that we were seeing early on. He's just been playing good the last month and a half for the most part. Not quite Hart level the last month and a half. Still sitting at a 925. But yeah, the goals saved to have expected have been about 0 the past month and a half. So he has lost some steam. Meanwhile, Leon Draisaitl just continuing to kill it. 40 goals, 43 assists, 83 points in 55 games. On pace for 60 goals, 64 assists, 124 points. No longer playing Selke level defense, but much, much better defense than prior years. And McDavid went down with that suspension. He didn't really miss a beat in terms of Draisaitl. He's been awesome. He's my MVP right now. I think Connor Hellebuck with the strong back half. But the problem with Connor Hellebuck is Eric Comrie's been playing a decent amount as a fantasy owner of Connor Hellebuck twice in the past 3 weeks. Comrie played on a non-back-to-back. It pissed me the hell off, but I think that Winnipeg isn't really going to drive him into the ground because his voters are probably not going to vote for him, so he probably won't have that good of Hart odds down the stretch. I think that after seeing last year, they did play him 64 games. I think they're probably going to slow up on the games. They are right now in terms of that, so he's probably only going to come in around 58, 60 games played. With a 924 and 925, that's probably not going to be enough to win the Hart. Right now, I have Leon Draisaitl. Nathan McKinnon, awesome. Might put up 130 points, but the goal scoring isn't quite there compared to last year where he had 51 goals. He only has 21 goals right now. Not even on pace for 140 points. The defense hasn't been quite as good, but he's still awesome. I still have him at third. I don't know why I'm trashing him so much. I just think it's kind of two-man right now in terms of Draisaitl and Hellebuck, but McKinnon has been awesome. Quinn Hughes, 4. Quinn Hughes, not my number one Norris right now. I think when you look at value to a team, as I said, talking about the Norris, I think Quinn Hughes is that more so valuable player to his team, considering, and honestly, missing 8 games helps because they've been a disaster when he hasn't played for the Vancouver Canucks. He has a 60.5% on-ice goals percentage this year, 55.7% expected goals, going back to what I said with Adam Fox. That's when he's on the ice. When he's off the ice, the Canucks go at 42.4% expected goals percentage. He's been dragging them into a wild card spot. It's been awesome in terms of that. And then 5th, I got Nikita Kucherov leading the team by 20 points with 82 and 52. Has a higher points per game than Nathan McKinnon. Just has the Tampa Bay Lightning have played 3 less games and he's missed 1 or 2 games. So he's playing awesome as well. Not quite at last year's pace, but yeah, he's an absolute stud. And that's my Hart ballot. Let's go through it again. Oh no, wrong one. Norris, Adams, Selke, Vezina, Gregory, Calder, and then the Hart. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about these updated awards? Do you agree with me that maybe Kel McCarr should be higher in the Norris, but more so for a most valuable player in the Hart, considering McCarr as McKinnon? That makes sense in a way. I can understand why you'd be like, it's just the overall value that they provide. I definitely, in most scenarios, I would agree with you. But again, just having McKinnon and you just look at how bad the Canucks, although they won their most recent game without Quinn Hughes, the stretch where he missed 4 to 5 games, they were incompetent. So as a result, I am going to go with, Kel McCarr winning the Norris, but Quinn Hughes. And if Quinn Hughes continues to play at the rate that he's going at by the end of the season, say he gets healthy, he's going to be my Norris pick. But again, 8 games played, similar to Celebrini. I'm going to stop talking. Let me know in the comments what do you think. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.